Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Q3 What's New in Estateably webinar. I am Hillary. I'm the marketing manager here at Estateably, and we are super happy that you could join us today for, taking some time out of your Thursday. So thanks for doing that. I am going to just go through a little bit of housekeeping before we get started into the meat of things. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. So today we've obviously got our crack What's New Estateably team here, as always, but we are also thrilled to have our partners at Estatesearch Canada join us today. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. Elsa, you're up.
Perfect. We'll go in order here. Hi,
Yeah.
everybody. Welcome back to our latest What's New in Estateably. My name is Elsa Kennedy. I just work on the customer success team here at the company, and I'll be able to go over some demo items of our new and exciting features that we're going to have available for you. They're live now as well as coming up, so it should be exciting. Thank you so much.
I guess I'll go. Hi, I'm Ron Batter. I'm the Director of Business Development at Estatesearch Canada. Thank you very much to our partners, Estateably, for having us here today. At Estatesearch, we're going to be presenting to you about missing billions. And what we do is we help in the estate administration process in the discovery of assets and liabilities. So we'll cover a little bit about why we do that and how we do that in our presentation. And thank you again to the Estateably team.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marissa Shaw, coming to you from Montreal, Canada. And I'm a senior product manager here, and I work with our development team building all of the neat and cool features that we keep bringing to Estateably.
Hey everybody, thanks for taking some time today. I actually work with Elsa on the customer success side of stuff. So obviously we'll be helping you guys take advantage of any of the features that we get to show today. So if you guys have any questions, let them rip. We're looking forward to it.
Let them rip. I like that, Avery. Okay, so just so you all know what to expect today, we're going to go through some general updates, but in case you were thinking about whether to stay to the end or rejoin, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to go through some of our product updates from the new chat support, our AI-powered chat support, to updated holdings tracking, and then new asset types and subtypes. So those are some of the things we're going to cover. And we'll also then hand it over to our partners, Estatesearch, to help you guys learn a little bit more about what they do and how we work together. Elsa, I am going to pass it over to you.
Thanks, Hillary. Okay, everybody, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. I'm going to replace current share if you're okay with that, Hillary. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So as we mentioned, we went over a couple just kind of brief items that we are going to demonstrate in terms of new features at Estateably today. Not too many things on our side today because we're going to give it over to our partners at Estatesearch. But a couple things here to go over. Please just note I am in our Canadian demo environment right now, but there are a few features that are available both for our US and Canadian clients as well. The first thing is our new AI chat support system that we've been enabled within our platform. One of the features that you are able to use, it's a couple different ways to handle and access support, especially outside of our regular business hours, which is quite helpful. You will still be finding that up in our tools section and finding the help and support button here. This will open up an AI chat bot, which will be an AI assistant that you will be able to go through just a couple clarification questions regarding your issues or something you may need a little bit of help with. It may help you just by sending a couple help articles that we already have created in the system to just eliminate the wait time it may take for one of us to answer your questions. You are able to, again, just answer a few questions here. There is also a few different search items in terms of searching directly to our support system. If you would like to just look through for the support articles, you're able to do so as well. If by chance you have a bit more of a complicated issue and you know that the AI chatbot might not be your best option, you are always able to just select or answer the speak to live agent or speak to human option, as with hopefully every AI chatbot these days, and that will go directly to our support team for us to be able to help you. So that is there for you, available again 24/7, just to be able to again answer your questions if we're not available or we're in calls or whatnot. But always just feel free to email support@estateably.com as well, because we will be able to help you as best we can, which is great. The next thing I wanted to quickly mention here is just a couple updates we had, nothing specifically to demonstrate, but just as a quick update, we have released just some newer updated versions of forms specifically for the Ontario jurisdiction with all the new court form updates that came out just last month. Everything is updated in our system as it usually is within that grace period, well before those forms are mandatorily required by the courts. That also includes for provinces like Nova Scotia as well as North Carolina. So those are all updated in our system, just as a quick mention to ensure that everyone that uses them knows that we are up to date on those and they're good to go, which is great. The next thing I wanted to mention quickly is specifically more for our Canadian clients is that we have recently released, as you'll notice on the dashboard screen of our page here, the notice status or the notice to creditors feature. This is something that we've released specifically to kind of prompt you to help post a notice to creditors directly on our website if it is something that you are interested in or it is necessarily needed for you, or if it's required for your specific estate. You are able to just kind of notice right away if it's not applicable for a specific jurisdiction, such as if a province or state has its specific legislation or publication it requires and it's not needed for online. You would just notice the not applicable. But if you are posting it directly through Ontario, or I believe Alberta is available as well, you can just select our publish button directly from the dashboard screen here, and it will take you directly to the notice to creditors feature within the application to post that notice really quick and easy within the system. You would then just receive a little green dot here indicating the notice has been published, and on the dashboard screen, it would also have a nice green icon just indicating notice published, completed. Congratulations, basically. Wonderful. The next thing we'll go into is just a couple of accounting specific features that we've released recently. I'm just going to go into one of our demonstration files here and go directly into our estate accounting module. Please note as well in terms of the probate and accounting files specifically, if by chance you have opened a probate only file, as is our recent change in our last webinar, it would say inventory here because we have combined the two of them recently, just as a quick kind of reminder from our last session. So in our probate and accounting files, we'll notice here it says our estate accounting, which will have our transactions and our assets and liabilities tab, previously our inventory. In the assets tab specifically, we've gone into kind of a bit more of a breakdown in terms of the details you're able to add, including adding a few new asset types to the system, which will include subtypes such as, I believe you have a GIC available. You'll be able to enter some digital currencies if applicable as well. Just a couple different new asset types are available. There should have been a pop-up that came up in your account the most recent time you logged in, detailing a few more options with that as well, but those are there for you to enter into your assets category if necessary to appropriately appear on your reports. Continuing through with that, actually, we do have a few new subclasses available for our holdings specific assets I will show you here, which are available, of course, when you create your deceased investment account or your trust investment account, whatever is necessary, and you'll be able to select from our specific add holding modal. You'll notice you'll be able to choose from our asset class drop-down list, which will kind of be a bit more narrowed down now because we've subcategorized certain types of holdings. In this case, if you're looking for stocks specifically, you would be going into the equity asset class and selecting the stock option. As you can see, there are lots of different options, including derivatives. We'll have all of the applicable options as well as fixed income is where you can enter a GIC if you'd like it to be within an account, etc. Just a way for you to kind of further clarify and customize the way that your report will look in terms of how those assets will be classified, which is quite nice. The next thing I have to show you here is actually recently we released an option for you to be able to see all of your previous holdings within your account. Specifically, things that have been liquidated have been dealt with completely. Previously, what would happen is they would just disappear right outside of your account, and you may not necessarily remember if you entered them or if you didn't. You'd have to look for the transaction or the applicable receipt or disbursement on your report to ensure that they were dealt with properly. We have recently released an option for you to actually be able to view those with a zero quantity directly in the holdings screen, and also filter those out if you would prefer by selecting this show active holdings only option. This is on a per user, per organization filter. So if by chance I have personal collaborators that are working on this file with me, I prefer this status. I don't want to see the zero quantity holdings. This will remember it for me specifically, and it will not be a setting for anybody else that views the file, which is quite nice. So again, just a way for you to kind of clear up what you see here. And if you do want to see those zero quantities to ensure that you entered them correctly and they're there and they've been dealt with accordingly, you are able to do so there as well. The last really quick thing I do want to show you as well here is that we have, just in partnership with our Estatesearch friends, is we have actually added a specific task into our task list relating to their search process, which you are able to find directly in the estate task section. It will be under the probate specific phase or folder, if you will. I'm just going to go ahead and just type it in here so you can find it quickly. And you'll notice we automatically have, under the probate application phase of tasks, this use Estatesearch for asset discovery task. And if you do open that drawer-like page to view the details, it will not only have a login for you to log in directly to their to your account through their portal, but you can also register immediately from here by clicking on this link. It will take you directly to their registrant page, which is very easy to do there. And without further ado, I think that's a great segue. I'll be able to stop sharing my screen, and I will pass it over to Ron, who will be able to discuss everything and share everything related to their lovely company.
Real quick, Elsa.
Perfect.
Had a couple related questions coming with the notice to creditors. So we had Elliot, who just wanted to see a sample notice. So if we could potentially show something on the website.
Sure. Yeah, I could do that really quickly for you. Absolutely. I'm going to share my screen one more time here, and I'm going to go back to our Estateably platform. And then actually you were able to find us directly through our website, if that is a question for you. And so excuse me, I didn't have this set up, but I'm just going to go directly to our website here, estateably.com. You'll be able to find our notice to creditors feature here. It is worth noting specifically for this, if it is new to you, you also do not have to have an Estateably account to post that notice. You can do it directly through our website on an ad hoc basis if you may need, but you are able to just publish a notice directly through here. It'll take you to that page as well, or you can do the view notices feature, and they will just appear on our list here where you're able to search by name, location, and view the notice specifically. They will also appear in a Google search for you as well.
And Sandy, to answer your question, I mistakenly clicked answer live. I meant to type that. Yeah, you could essentially have the affidavit of publication you were mentioning would be sent to the lawyer by your request, essentially. So yes, great question as well.
Perfect. There we are, Ron. Off to you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm just going to share my
Oh.
screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Looks great. You can see it
Perfect.
perfectly.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm just going to do a little rearranging of my screen so I can see everything. Okay, well, thank you very much. Welcome to today's session. Thank you to our great partner, Estateably, for giving us the time today. At Estatesearch, we help streamline estate administration and reduce risk through enhanced due diligence for estate and probate lawyers. So today, we're going to look at what is arguably one of the most urgent issues facing you as estate practitioners, and that's the digital shift and what this means for asset discovery in estate practice. So today, we're going to look at why the move to digital wealth is redefining estate practice, why assets go missing and what Canadians really know about their finances, the risks for practitioners when assets and liabilities are overlooked, and how leading firms are embracing technology and best practice to future-proof their processes. There is no alternative to digital transformation. The visionary companies will carve out new strategic options for themselves. Those that don't adapt will fail. So this is a quote from Jeff Bezos, who I know everyone is familiar with. The digital shift has and will continue to impact all industries. And estate administration is no exception. Now, if you think about it, wealth today is shifting more and more towards digital. Banking, pensions, and investments are all available online. Yet estate practice, and specifically asset discovery, still heavily relies on memory and paperwork. Now, if you were made executor for your best friend tomorrow, how confident would you be that you could find everything? So a house, sure, maybe a bank account or two, but what about online savings, forgotten pensions, or old crypto wallets? So this mismatch, which is digital wealth versus analog administration, is fueling billions in unclaimed assets sitting in the Canadian financial industry. So some of which could possibly belong to your clients. And unless we act, it'll only grow. So let's take a look at this in a bit more detail. In just 1 century, we've gone from the first TV broadcast to artificial intelligence reshaping our daily lives. And along the way, we've had landmark moments. The first email in 1971, mobile phones in the 80s, the internet in the 90s, smartphones in 2007, and cryptocurrencies after 2009. And Canada has been at the forefront too. The Bank of Montreal launched the first Canadian online banking in 1996. The Ontario Securities Commission approved the world's first Bitcoin ETF in 2021. And the pace of change is exponential. So every sector has adapted to this rapid change: retail, media, even hospitality. But estate administration, it looks eerily similar to how it did 50 years ago, still using the same, spreadsheets and expecting families to go hunting through drawers for statements that may or may not be there. Lawyers still chase paperwork through the mail, and the systems and habits really haven't changed. And yet the assets we're trying to find, they have changed completely. Paper statements have been replaced with mobile apps, online banks, digital pensions, and encrypted crypto wallets. And postal strikes don't help, help as well with the interruption of delivery of paper statements. So the heart of the problem is the way we die hasn't changed, but the way we hold wealth absolutely has. And in some cases, estate practice hasn't caught up. Research by the Canadian Bankers Association reveals some interesting stats that show the digital shift isn't going away. 90% prefer the convenience of online banking. Almost 80% use online or mobile apps for transactions. And half say digital is their primary channel. This isn't just evidence of the shift. This is everyday life for your clients. They expect speed, accuracy, and convenience. If our process still depend on memory and paper, they'll fall out of step. And let's be honest, consumers don't wait. They'll choose the firms to work with that reflect the way they already live. And demographics guarantee the pace of change will only accelerate. 27% of Canadians are under 25. Digital is all they know. 40% are between 25 and 54. This client base is already digital first. Coming back to Jeff Bezos, these generations expect Amazon service. It's quick, easy, accessible. They want speed, clarity, and tech-first service. Meanwhile, the aging population means there are more estates than ever. So you've got rising volumes from aging baby boomers and rising expectations from younger tech-native clients. Now, that's a powerful force, and it'll define the next decade of estate practice. So let's look at where this causes issues. Digital banking often means that paper billing and statements are a thing of the past. Online makes finances more convenient while alive, but it's leaving a mess for families after death. If an estate plan exists, not everything may be included. This may be common if someone made the plan later in life, or if they made the plan earlier, but have not kept it up to date. Families may not know what they don't know and may not have been privy to where all the assets are. Executors are often starting with incomplete or inaccurate maps of the estate. And let's quantify this issue. Our research shows that there is between $10 billion and $20 billion in unclaimed assets in Canada. Money sits in banks, in pensions, bonds, dividends, and life insurance policies that has either been forgotten by the owner or unclaimed by estate beneficiaries. At the federal level, the Bank of Canada manages dormant bank accounts, and that currently sits at more than $1.5 billion. But this is only part of the story. When you add in unpaid benefits and dividends the total climbs higher. Now, we discussed this in much more detail in our full missing billions session. So here's where there's another wrinkle to the challenge. Canada does not have a single unified system. It's a patchwork. British Columbia, Alberta, Quebec, they have active unclaimed property regimes. Ontario had a system, but repealed it. Instead, they now rely on their own version of the Escheats Act. And crucially, Ontario also has regulations which allows the public guardian and the trustee to take possession of unclaimed property that is reverted to the government. Other provinces, laws exist, but enforcement and access are limited. And this fragmentation makes it harder for executors and lawyers to locate everything. The scale is enormous, and the systems we have don't close the gap. It's not only the direct shift to digital that's having an impact, but it certainly adds to the existing problem. Now, firstly, people will often lose track of things. Individuals may not keep effective or complete records when moving, marrying, or divorcing. They might not provide updated contact details to every entity they have a commercial relationship with. The Globe and Mail previously reported that people move home around 7 times in their lifetime and can have up to 15 different jobs throughout their career. Secondly, the broader financial service sector also provides challenges. Institutions more regularly acquire, merge, or divest business entities and interests. This means that who you may have previously set up an account or policy with no longer exists in the same format. The family of the deceased may also not know where all the accounts are located. This could be because people are uncomfortable talking about money or simple lack of planning. Or the deceased may have had unknown capacity issues that the family didn't know about or people didn't know about, and they simply lost track or forgot. And finally, number 4, when funds go unclaimed, they can be hard to find. And the lack of information held by the account provider or by the estate administrator contribute to accounts ultimately not being picked up. And so what's the result of this? We ran a survey of Canadian consumers last year in 2024, and we found that 31% would not be confident in identifying their spouse's assets. 22% of people have not told their next of kin where to find their assets. So inevitably, families and therefore practitioners are left with incomplete maps of wealth. And your responsibility to locate all assets gets much harder. Now, overlooked assets and liabilities create major risks. So the liability and extra costs for estates, claims and reputational damage for the firm, fiduciary duty can trigger negligence claims if diligence isn't shown. What you don't find can hurt you as much as what you do. So let's look at a best practice and future-proofing your practice, how to do that. What does that mean? Firstly, formalizing policies to locate all assets and liabilities. Using integrated digital tools such as Estateably with Estatesearch, and demonstrating diligence to reduce risk and build trust. This isn't more work, it's smarter, safer practice. Now, embracing digital tools is no longer optional. It's a difference between falling behind and getting ahead in the next era of estate administration. If it's risk versus best practice, the winners will embrace digital tools to deliver speed and accuracy and meet due diligence. The losers will continue to rely on outdated manual methods. And of course, being here as Estateably customers, you're all winners and ahead of the curve by already using a digital tool. So at the end of the day, modern clients are going to choose modern firms. And Estatesearch is committed to helping estate practitioners with the often difficult task of searching for and locating the assets and liabilities of a deceased. Our comprehensive financial profile search actively contacts financial institutions across Canada. We reach out not only to the banks, but also their wealth and investment divisions. In addition, we contact trust companies, credit unions, insurance companies, and pension plans. Our digital asset bolt-on search looks for crypto, online trading, and online gambling accounts. Now, these are often difficult to find, and more importantly, may not have been made known to family members because they are generally secretive in nature. The resulting report saves you administration time, allowing you to focus on contacting those financial institutions where a match has been identified. And it gives the peace of mind that you've met your due diligence requirements to search for assets and liabilities. I do want to add as well, our report includes a TransUnion credit search, so we pull up liabilities of the estate as well. Now, look for that Estatesearch link in your Estateably task list, and please reach out to me to set up a free account and a demonstration. So in summary, the digital shift is real and it's not going away. Billions of dollars remain unclaimed across Canada. Families can't close the gap because there's less and less of a paper trail, and digital tools are essential, not optional. So as said, for our full 1 hour session on Canada's missing billions, please email me at ron.batter@estatesearch.ca. Thank you everyone for attending, and thank you again to our great partner Estateably for including us in this session.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron.
Thank
I
you.
love the winners and the losers. I feel like I'm a marketer and I'm like that resonated with me for sure.
Perfect.
And I think it's probably a drumbeat that you have to keep beating, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you again so much.
Yes. I do see a question. Oh, I think Mike is answering regarding Estatesearch covering the US. Yes, we do. We originally started in the UK, so you can search in the UK, in Canada, and we've recently expanded into the US as well.
Perfect. Anything else? I see Mike's answering some questions. Is there anything else that we wanted to just before?
Sure. I can answer a couple of questions. Sorry, Ron, just to
Go ahead, Mike.
Rosanna. I typed some answers, but I feel this one, Rosanna had asked or mentioned that she searches the Bank of Canada for dormant accounts and or lost accounts during that stage. So some quick information on that. So that's great, and that's a great free resource to be able to use. The issue with that, and we actually go over this in our longer presentation of missing billions that Ron just did, where it's on average about 10 years of dormant accounts to sit with the banks before they get transferred to the Bank of Canada. So while there is some information there, you also kind of have to know what you're looking for in terms of if you suspect that there might be a missing account or things like that. And it's also has a long period of time where our search, we cover things right away across, 160, 170 financial institutions in Canada, as well as the US, as Ron said, and the UK. So it just helps get you some information a little bit quicker. So it's just a more immediate thing than searching the Bank of Canada, but that's also a great due diligence step to do. So I hope that helped answer your question and just provide a little bit of clarity as opposed to some of the differences. Ron, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. So there's, bank accounts are only one part of the equation, and we said that's represents 1.5 billion. Probably about, I think our number is closer to 3 billion when you count in the Canada Revenue Agency. So the numbers are big. Not to kind of give another little teaser for our full session, but in Ontario, the CPA organization did a study, and they found that in Ontario alone, there are 200,000 missing pensioners. And so what does that mean? That means 200,000 people where, pension companies don't know where they are. And that represents $3.6 billion. So bank accounts are one part of the equation. And Rosanna, I see as well, you're right, absolutely. It is part of the estate trustee's responsibility to collect all the assets, but this is a tool you can offer them. And to answer Carolyn's question, the fees, it's $400 to do the financial profile search. There's no subscription fees, no setup costs. Accounts are free. You can have as many users as you want. We invoice you as you do the search. So the financial profile search is $400. The digital asset search is an optional add-on of another $60 plus tax. So depending on your jurisdiction, you're going to look at $460 plus tax for the with the digital asset add-on. And that's a dispersible cost that you can pass along to the estate. So for that fee, I think it's worth it to find the assets, and also to ensure, should there ever be a questioning, you can assist that estate trustee in saying, we've done everything possible we can to find the assets and the liabilities. So we've done our due diligence. We've done everything we can to find where this person had a relationship with financial institutions across Canada or other jurisdictions, should you choose that.
Cool.
Perfect. I just one last question that was in there. I was going to answer for Dominique. You asked how long does it take to get the results. So it takes our initial report's 30 business days to do it. As I'm sure a lot of you have experienced, it can take a lot longer than that for some financial institutions. We have a whole team designated to building those relationships to helping get it within that time. However, if we get matches back after that time, it's indefinitely monitored on our end, and you will get automated responses with the information when there is a match, whether it's 35 business days, whether it's 6 months, whatever it may be. So we try to get them to you as quick as possible, but we do forever monitor that for you at no additional cost. But 30 business days is the initial full report that you get.
And just to add to that, within that time frame, if we do get positive matches, we notify you right away. So say day 7, RBC says, yes, there's a match. We let you know about that right away. You don't have to wait the full 30 days.
Awesome. Do we have anything else that we don't want to rush or miss anything? We can definitely follow up afterwards, but I think Mike and Ron, I think we got everything. We can do some follow-up post.
Perfect.
Okay. One last question that Naveen just popped up. Do you guys want to take that now, and we want to follow up afterwards? I'm not sure if we have time, but take a look. Can we use this service to locate assets of a defendant? Oh, I think we have a couple.
No, we don't do searches on living people, with the exception of certain capacity matters. We can do the search for guardians. I know a lot of family lawyers ask us if we can do the search on deadbeat spouses, but unfortunately we can't. It comes, the authority comes from the estate administrator or the executor. So we don't do it on living people, only on the deceased.
Awesome. We got some questions, and Elliot and Zara, I think we will kind of take these away, and Ron and Mike, can we follow up with both Elliot and Zara post webinar? We have a couple of questions that came in there. So just while we have everybody, want to move into a bit of Q&A just generally too, so we can answer those in that session too. So I'm just gonna share my screen, and we'll move into just a general Q&A, so we can go back and forth between, we got partners here. We can go back and forth between Estateably and Estatesearch. So I'm going to open up kind of the larger Q&A to everyone. So feel free to post your questions. If you have any more questions for Estateably, any product update questions that we didn't maybe address, or that you had kind of lingering, feel free to add those in. Avery, Elsa, anything that you wanted to add kind of more generally?
No, we got some really good questions, some specific stuff, kind of like I answered to a couple of the attendees. Like, always feel free to reach out to support if you have like file specific stuff. We're always there to help walk you through anything that you need. So never hesitate to reach out to us as well.
Cool.
I think we went over a few of those questions just before Ron did his lovely presentation. So I feel like if anybody else has anything else, please feel free to reach out. We'll happily go over them with you in a bit more personal detail. And yeah, we're here to help.
Cool. Yeah, thank you again for joining us today. We really very much appreciate you taking the time on this Thursday to check in with us and with our partner, Estatesearch. So yeah, until till next quarter, we will see you all soon. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.